Are you suffering from the heat right now? Are you looking for a spicy summer book that makes you feel cold and dry inside instead of hot and bothered? Oh boy, do I have the book for you. My name is Victoria, and I would like to introduce you to The Snow Hoe, my summer in Antarctica. Just look at that AI generated cover. Doesn't it just make you feel absolutely nothing? Sergio, a 35-year-old virgin and glaciologist stationed in Antarctica, begins having visions of a beautiful, sensual woman made from snow and ice. When his coworkers begin getting picked off one by a mysterious creature, Sergio wonders if there's a connection to the snow woman in his dreams. When he discovers the truth, Sergio sets out to find the woman from his visions, but a stop to the coworker killings. Will he solve the mystery and finally get laid? You know, I had to read this. I had to. I was just searching for summer horror, and this popped up because you have completely ruined my Amazon Kindle Unlimited recommendations. I blame you specifically. You are personally responsible for making me do this. And I couldn't say no. I mean, look at that premise. I had to inflict this upon all of us. Besides, this is also brought to you by the author who wrote The Orc's Ornate Orifice and The Pricked Prick. The Snow Hoe is third in the series of my saucy summer vacations, the first being Instamodel Porta Potty. This book has 1 5-star rating that I think is maybe just from the author themselves. Their whole catalog reads like someone saw what Chuck Tingle was doing, saw that one coronavirus viral romance in 2020 and saw that romantasy was trending and was like, writing takes no skill. I can get in on this. Let me get in on this. Imagine what you could do with that much confidence and self-delusion. Like and subscribe for more motivational tips. There is an AI-generated woman pictured in their author bio, but I'm going to say that all of these were written by a man, the kind of man who really tried to get into large-scale Bitcoin mining at one point and failed. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm being too judgy, but that's the vibes that I'm getting from this. So I'm just procrastinating, but let's get into it. This is how it opens. That frigid bitch, hissed Michael, caramel eyes alight with pure rage. I have no idea why I married that puffy, hideous... He fiddled with an asymmetric purple, something he frequently did when irritated. So good writing advice tells you that the opening is important and that you really have to grab and compel your audience. And I would say that this is attention grabbing, but it also makes me want to run completely in the opposite direction. So I think this could maybe use a little bit of workshopping. Sergio happens to be our main character, which we know from the bio. Not Michael, even though Michael is kicking us off with some real interesting stuff. Michael is just like sitting at this cafeteria in the research center in Antarctica, just like fiddling with his personal adult item. I would say the word, but I'm, again, really trying not to get my channel banned. There are going to be some euphemisms that I would not normally employ, so I apologize for that. Sergio is not Michael's partner, but just his coworker, and he's just openly just fiddling with this silicone thing. Where is HR in all of this? I would like to know, because I feel like that might be a violation. Apparently, Sergio just sees this as totally normal. As does Zane, who is the other researcher that we're introduced to. He seems to be the big boss man in this situation, and he's totally cool with it. So I guess if your boss is cool with it, then it's fine. One of the quirks of Mr. Khouri's, Mr. Khouri, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing this completely real, not fake pen name for a real woman who really exists. They really try to paint a vibrant picture with their adjectives. Michael's eyes aren't brown, but they're caramel. His buttons aren't blue, but they're azure. They use the word gargantuan to describe both the research station and Zane's bulge. They use that twice, and we're only on page 3. The whole thing reads like someone read a WikiHow article on how to write real good, and they are zealously applying everything they've been taught to absolutely no success whatsoever. This is only 42 pages, and it feels a lot longer than that. Anyway, just assume everyone's smile glimmers like the outside snow, and that everyone has a massive schlong, and we'll just skip all of those parts. There are 3 things that you need to know about this research station. One of them is that there's a rumor going around that there's some super top secret experiments going on here beneath the ice that no one's supposed to know about. Number 2 is that everyone is sleeping together in massive station-wide parties. All the time. Just everyone, all the time. Number 3, you can also assume because of this that everyone's just like carrying around their own personal toys. For some reason, I don't know why Zane, the boss, has to carry around a purple polka-dotted one, especially when he's just been out on the ice. I feel like people are going to get frostbite in some sensitive areas, and it's going to be very difficult to explain how that happened. Again, without an HR violation. Where is HR in this whole scenario? Did they not have jurisdiction in Antarctica? Because I would be concerned. This book also made me have to Google whether or not polar bears are well endowed. Zane makes a comment, and then I had to Google it because I had to know. It turns out polar bears are the same size down there as a brown bear, which is much smaller in comparison. So now you know that because I had to know it. Stay tuned for more fun facts with me. We love learning things on this channel. Anyway, after a bunch of preamble that I did not enjoy, we finally get to spend a little one-on-one time with Sergio. He, dejected as everyone around him starts doing the dirty, he goes back to his room and, sits there and feels really bad about himself. He's a virgin. He's waiting to meet a woman who shares his religious beliefs, which is totally fine. He talks about his past relationship with his girlfriend Stephanie, who cheated on him with a much older man, whose bits we are forced to watch the author describe in horrifying detail. So, Sergio has come to Antarctica to escape all of that and is sad that everyone around him is making these personal connections that he has yet to experience. While Sergio is falling asleep, sadly by himself, Michael is still up. He is contemplating his poor life choices, but is interrupted when there's a knock at his door. He opens his door into the outside, out into the ice sheet, and sees this beautiful naked woman standing outside. She begins to walk away from him, and instead of inviting her in because she's about to die from exposure, he gets his snowsuit on and goes to follow her. She leads him to this rather cozy igloo. It's got all these animal furs in it. It seems really nice. Igloos are nice and warm. They're fun. So he goes in there, and she's like, "Enter me," and he does. He notices as he does that she's ice cold all over. But he's like, "Hey, still better than my wife." Fun safety tip for everyone out there: if the person that you were inside feels ice cold, you are definitely committing some sort of crime. Something bad is definitely going to happen to you, whether it's jail or ghost ectoplasm inside bits that you don't want that. It's not going to end well. We also apparently are involving the penguins, which, again, I've mentioned this before, it's creepy when not humans are watching you. If you want to be a voyeur, that is fine. If you want to be an exhibitionist, that is fine. Just don't involve animals, especially not adorable little penguins. They didn't need to see this. But Michael does get his just desserts because she freezes his bits and snaps them off like a twig. He runs back into the station and he's very upset about this. Meanwhile, Sergio is awoken from his strange dreams by Michael screaming and goes out to see what the fuss is about. Michael tells a story and Sergio feels like, "Oh, this is eerily like the woman that I was having weird dreams about. That's weird." Zane comes in and is like, "You were probably super high. You probably tried to bone that polar bear that I was telling you about earlier. You need to go home. We can't have this. I would like to propose that everyone here is actually a little too high because polar bears do not live in Antarctica. That is another fun polar bear fact for you. They do not live in Antarctica. So if you are seeing them there, something has gone terribly, terribly wrong. Michael goes home, and several weeks pass with nothing eventful really happening, especially not to Sergio. Then Zane introduces Sergio to this new research assistant named Rose. She's very pretty, and Zane mentions that she is eager to participate in the research station's extracurricular activities. Wink, wink. Sergio immediately calls Rose some very unflattering names and walks away from her. He's really upset that she's just like everyone else and she's just sleeping around while he's waiting for this perfect, pure woman. Kind of problematic. Sergio, maybe you need to do some inner work here. He goes out into the snow to get some fresh air, where he sees in the distance the snow hoe. The snow hoe calls him a virgin, and in response, he takes the gun that he has at all times for polar bear attack prevention and aims at her and is like, "Begone, snow demon." Rose comes out and is like, "What the fuck is going on here? Who are you talking to? There's no woman." Sergio looks back and like, there's no one there. He tries to explain to her what's happening, and she then explains that she isn't going to participate in the station-wide parties. She thought Zane was being serious when he mentioned like extracurricular activities. So they're totally fine now that he knows that she's not just a total, insert derogatory term here. But Rose also believes him about the snow hoe. She says that there are rumors that someone opened a portal decades ago to a different realm and summoned something here, and that nothing's ever been the same since. It doesn't seem like she's here specifically to research that. She just also happens to know that about this place and believe that about this place, but still came anyway. So she needs to critical thinking skills here. If you think a place is haunted by a demon that's going to kill you, maybe don't go there. While they're out there talking, they hear some noises and they go to investigate. The snow hoe has claimed another victim. They watch in horror while the snow hoe freezes someone's butt cheeks and snaps them off of them, leaving them to bleed out in the snow. Zane calls a station-wide meeting as a result of this, and Sergio and Rose try to explain what happened, but of course nobody believes them. Sergio proceeds to storm out after this altercation. On his little mental health walk, he finds a cave that happens to be full of dead researchers. One of them looks eerily like the snow hoe, and he goes and investigates and finds that it's a woman whose name was Clara, who died in 1984. So it seems like the snow hoe is possessing people and pretending to be these really hot people in order to like feed on their life force or blood or whatever it is that she gets out of it. Then, big twist, Sergio finds Zane's body. This means that whoever's running the research station isn't really Zane. That's a demon. This is bad. Sergio runs in there, guns blazing, and finds that in this 20-minute absence, Rose has been tied down in the middle of a pentagram made out of what seems to be red paint and white personal adult toys. It's a fun change compared to the white candles that they usually have. It's a nice touch. Zane is there. He is shirtless and wearing red assless chaps for some reason. And everyone else is wandering around, setting things up, wearing these dark robes. It looks like they are summoning something terrible. They do manage to call in the snow hoe, and we find out that Zane, it's like a Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island situation. So Zane was the first one who was summoned, and he took over this researcher's body back in the 50s. And then he summoned his queen to feed on all of the horny researchers with him. He then pulls off his pants to reveal, I'm sorry that I have to do this, a Frankenwiener? I had to have that mental image, so now you have to have that mental image. You're welcome. Just before the snow hoe can, it looks like they're just gonna straight up murder Rose, so that they can have her body. Before the Snow Hoe gets to do any of that, Sergio manages to shoot Zane and gets her out of there. They run away. They're trying to escape. They realize it's Antarctica. Where are they going to escape to? They're going to probably freeze to death before they get any rescue. And then we get this delightful little gem. Their coworkers and Zane chase them like shadows in the night. Rose, we're not going to make it. Help won't get here in time, Sergio despaired, falling to his knees. Sergio, please, we have to try, Rose stammered, out of breath from fleeing. Rose, I'm sorry I misjudged you, Sergio said, his eyes filling with tears. Will you... me... Rose responds reasonably, but Sergio is like, we're about to die. I'm a virgin. Can we just do this, please? And she's like, okay. Not the choice that I would make in that situation, but sure. The author describes some of her actions like a panda eating bamboo. And again, can we keep the animals out of this? I don't want to keep saying that. Can we keep the animals out of this one? After Sergio does his thing, a ship comes in just at that moment to save them, despite nobody having shot off an SOS call. Rose and Sergio get on board and try to explain the thing to the captain, but the captain doesn't believe them. The captain also sees a naked woman on the ice and is like, we have to save her. Rose pushes the captain off of the ship to save everyone, and the captain is like, okay, let's get busy. And unfortunately, something terrible does happen to his man-butts while he's down there. Sergio, while this is happening, Sergio throws a lit flare into the middle of the demon's chest, burning her up and turning her into snowflakes, essentially vanquishing her. Everyone gets back on the ship, and they leave and sail into the sunset. In the epilogue, Sergio and Rose are together. They buy a little house in Minnesota and live happily ever after. However, nobody believes them. It is said that the station is still running to this day, luring in horny researchers to become their victims. And that is the book. Please tell me in the comments what you think I should rate this book, because I did hate every second of it, but also I picked up a book called The Snow Hoe, so I did get what I deserved. This book is both 1 and 5 stars at the same time. 1 because it is terrible, 5 because it did deliver on what we asked it to. Unfortunately, in potentially the worst possible way. Would love to know your personal thoughts on that. Thank you for joining me on this horrifying ride. I hope it made you feel cold and dead inside in the heat of summer. If you would like to see me read more terrible books, please like and subscribe. I will see you next time.